The quantum sensors aboard the Galactic Council's observation post Sigma 7 registered the impossible on an otherwise unremarkable Tuesday. Deep in the uncharted sectors of the Orion Arm, a ripple in spacetime emerged from a planet the Council had classified as pre-spaceflight barely a century ago. The station's AI took 14 milliseconds to verify the reading before alerting its organic operators. Senior observer Xalax stretched his crystalline appendages in surprise as the alert interrupted his rest cycle. In 300 years of monitoring this sector, nothing had warranted emergency protocols. His faceted eyes studied the data streams with growing concern. "This can't be correct," he muttered, the bioluminescent patches on his thorax pulsing with anxiety. "Run diagnostic sequence Alpha 3. The sensors were functioning perfectly. The energy signature matched no known civilization's fold drive technology. Yet there it was, a controlled quantum fold event originating from the third planet of an unremarkable yellow star. The humans, who had only recently discovered nuclear fission, had somehow achieved what should have been impossible. In the council chambers on Capital World, the emergency session descended into chaos as Talax's report was presented. The Arcanar delegation's chromatic displays flashed warning patterns, while the silicon-based lithoids rumbled their displeasure through subsonic frequencies. "Order!" Supreme Counselor Vex's voice cut through the cacophony. The ancient Promethean cybernetic enhancements gleamed under the chamber's lights as they addressed the assembly. "We are faced with an unprecedented situation. A species has bypassed millennia of expected technological development to achieve quantum fold capability. The implications cannot be ignored." The lithoid representatives' crystalline forms sparkled as they spoke. The humans were supposed to be centuries away from achieving spaceflight. Our last survey showed them struggling with primitive chemical rockets. How did they make this leap? "That's what disturbs me most," Vex responded, their artificial eyes cycling through spectrum analysis of the sensor data. "The energy signature suggests their quantum fold technology is more elegant than our own, more efficient. They didn't just achieve the impossible, they improved upon it." In the observation galleries, junior diplomats and specialists from 1,000 worlds watched the proceedings with growing unease. The Galactic Council had maintained order for 50,000 years by carefully managing the development and integration of new species. Humanity had just shattered that carefully maintained system. Meanwhile, on Earth, Dr. Sarah Chen stood in the control center of the Quantum Propulsion Laboratory, watching the test results scroll across her holographic displays. The successful fold test of the QE-1 prototype had exceeded all expectations, but something about the readings troubled her. "Dr. Chen," her eye assistant's voice was carefully neutral, "I'm detecting unusual quantum echoes in the fold wake. The pattern suggests active scanning from multiple sources." Sarah's eyes narrowed as she studied the new data. After 20 years of working on the Quantum Fold project, she had learned to trust her instincts. "They're watching us now, aren't they? The evidence suggests we are no longer alone in our observations, Doctor." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. Humanity had prepared for this moment for over a century, ever since the first crashed alien scout ship had been recovered in 1908. The quantum fold drive was just the latest piece of carefully reverse-engineered technology, modified and improved through human ingenuity. "Send word to the Defense Council," she ordered. "Tell them it's time for Phase 2. We've got their attention. Now let's see how they react to what comes next." In high orbit, hidden behind quantum stealth fields that even the Council's advanced sensors couldn't penetrate, Earth's first battle fleet waited. The ships were unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Hybrid designs incorporating technologies that most species considered incompatible. They represented humanity's greatest achievement, the ability to take the impossible and make it work. Fleet Admiral James Chen, Sarah's brother, stood on the bridge of the EDF Hyperion, watching Earth rotate slowly below. The quantum fold test had been the signal they'd been waiting for. After generations of secret preparation, humanity was ready to announce its presence to the galaxy. "Status report," he commanded. "All ships report ready, Admiral," His XO responded. Quantum shields are stable, hybrid drives are nominal, and weapons systems are on standby. The fleet is ready. James nodded, his expression grave. The next few days would determine humanity's place in the galaxy. They had known this moment would come ever since they'd discovered they weren't alone in the universe. The question now was whether the galaxy was ready for humanity. Send word to all ships, he ordered. Maintain stealth protocols, but begin combat drills. When the Council makes their move, I want us ready to respond from a position of strength. The pieces were in place. Humanity had spent generations preparing for first contact, knowing it would come on their terms or not at all. As the Council's observation posts registered more quantum fold events from Earth's solar system, the galaxy's power structure began to shift. Humanity wasn't just joining the galactic community. They were about to reshape it. The Galactic Council's first contact delegation arrived 3 days after Earth's quantum fold test. Their fleet materialized at the edge of the solar system, a collection of sleek vessels representing the most advanced ships of a dozen species. They expected to find a primitive civilization stumbling into technologies they barely understood. What they found instead would change the galaxy forever. Ambassador Trell of the Arcanar Collective led the delegation, their crystalline form shifting through patterns of diplomatic courtesy as they prepared to broadcast the standard first contact message. The Council had performed this ritual thousands of times across the millennia, a carefully choreographed dance of technological superiority and benevolent guidance. The message never left their communications array. Incoming transmission. Their communications officer reported, surprise evident in their harmonic voice. It's being broadcast on all our secure frequencies simultaneously. Impossible. Trell's crystalline form flickered with disbelief. Those frequencies are quantum encrypted. They'd need. Greetings, Ambassador Trell and representatives of the Galactic Council. The human voice was calm, professional, and speaking perfect high galactic. I am Admiral James Chen of the Earth Defense Force. We've been expecting you. On the bridge of the Hyperion, James watched the Council delegation's ships through quantum-enhanced sensors. Their vessels were impressive, the pinnacle of conventional galactic engineering. But conventional thinking was exactly what humanity had moved beyond. Your arrival was predicted within a 4-hour window, James continued, allowing a hint of satisfaction to enter his voice. We appreciate your prompt response to our quantum fold test. However, before we proceed with formal introductions, there's something you should see. At his signal, Earth's defense fleet dropped their stealth fields. Over 300 ships materialized around the Council delegation, vessels that dwarfed anything in the known galaxy. The quantum stealth technology alone was theoretical to most Council species, yet humanity had perfected it generations ago. In the Council flagship's command center, Trell's crystalline form pulsed with rapid color changes indicating extreme stress. The sensor data couldn't be correct. These human ships weren't just large. They were technological impossibilities. Their energy signatures suggested multiple systems that should have been mutually exclusive. By Council authority, Trell broadcast, their voice wavering slightly. Explain how you acquired these technologies. No species can advance from primitive spaceflight to this level without assistance. It violates all known development patterns. With respect, Ambassador, James replied, you're operating under several incorrect assumptions. Humanity hasn't recently advanced to this level. We've been here for quite some time. We simply chose when to reveal ourselves. In the Quantum Propulsion Laboratory on Earth, Dr. Sarah Chen watched the exchange with growing tension. The Council's reaction would determine their next steps. Years of psychological and sociological analysis suggested they would respond with either fear or aggression. Either way, humanity was prepared. Admiral, she communicated to her brother through their quantum-encrypted channel. The Council ships are powering up their weapon systems. Their energy signatures match our predictions for defensive posturing. Understood, James responded. Implementing Protocol Omega. Across Earth's fleet, quantum shields shifted through frequencies faster than the Council's targeting systems could track. It was another impossible technology, the product of combining quantum mechanics with human creativity in ways the Council's species had never considered. Ambassador Trell, James broadcast, his voice firm but diplomatic, "I notice your vessels have adopted a defensive posture. I assure you this is unnecessary. We're not your enemies, unless you choose to make us so." The implied threat wasn't subtle. It didn't need to be. The Council delegation could see the sensor data. Their weapons would be useless against Earth's quantum-shifting shields. More importantly, they had no defense against whatever weapons these impossible human ships might carry. In the Council flagship's diplomatic chamber, Trell consulted urgently with their superiors through quantum entanglement communications. The situation was unprecedented. Humanity hadn't just achieved advanced technology. They had surpassed the Council in several crucial areas. The carefully maintained balance of power in the galaxy was about to shift dramatically. "Admiral Chen," Trell finally responded, their voice carefully modulated. "The Council requires an explanation. How long has humanity possessed these technologies? Why reveal yourselves now?" "We've had them long enough to perfect them," James answered. "As for why now, we detected your observation posts centuries ago. We've been watching you watch us, waiting until we were ready to engage with the galaxy on our terms, not yours." On Earth, military installations around the globe went to high alert. If the Council chose conflict, humanity was ready. They had spent generations preparing for this moment, developing technologies and strategies that went beyond anything the galaxy had seen. "The Council will need time to discuss this development," Trell announced, their crystalline form now pulsing with diplomatic patterns meant to convey peaceful intent. "Take all the time you need, Ambassador," James replied. "But understand this, humanity will not be classified, controlled, or contained. We're joining the galactic community as equals, or we're not joining at all." As the Council delegation processed this declaration, quantum sensors across the solar system detected more ships dropping their stealth fields. Earth's full defense fleet was revealing itself. Over 1,000 vessels of varying sizes and configurations, each representing technological achievements the Council had thought impossible. The message was clear. Humanity wasn't asking for permission to join the galactic community. They were announcing their arrival. The galaxy would have to adapt to them, not the other way around. The Galactic Council's emergency session lasted 3 days. 3 days during which humanity's existence shattered 50,000 years of established protocols and power structures. The Council chambers, usually a model of order and decorum, had devolved into barely controlled chaos. Supreme Counselor Vex watched the proceedings with growing concern, their cybernetic enhancements collecting and analyzing data from 1,000 sources. The humans hadn't just achieved advanced technology. They had systematically hidden their progress while studying the Council's weaknesses. "The humans must be contained," the lithoid representative declared, their crystalline form resonating with aggressive harmonics. "They possess technologies that could destabilize the entire galaxy. Our civilizations have grown together, developed together, fought wars, and made peace together. These humans think they can simply appear and demand equality. And how do you propose we contain them?" Vex asked, their artificial eyes cycling through spectrum analyses of Earth's fleet. "Their quantum shields make our weapons useless. Their stealth technology is beyond our detection capabilities. And those are just the technologies they've chosen to reveal." In Earth orbit, Admiral Chen received the Council's response exactly when their behavioral models had predicted. The quantum encrypted transmission carried what the Council probably thought was an overwhelming show of force. The combined fleets of 17 species were converging on Earth's solar system. "Right on schedule," James commented, sharing a knowing look with his tactical officer. "Alert Dr. Chen. Tell her it's time for Phase 3. In the Quantum Propulsion Laboratory, Sarah Chen received her brother's message with grim satisfaction. Phase 3 was the culmination of humanity's preparation. The moment when they would demonstrate just how far beyond conventional thinking they had gone. "Initialize the quantum field generators," she ordered. "Begin the synchronized fold sequence." Across the solar system, massive structures that had remained hidden for decades began to power up. Each one was a quantum field generator, technology that the Council believed was theoretically impossible. Together, they would create something that would change the nature of space warfare forever. The Council fleet arrived in waves, thousands of ships representing the combined might of the galaxy's most powerful civilizations. Their weapons were primed, their shields at maximum power. They expected to find Earth's fleet waiting in formation, preparing for a conventional space battle. Instead, they found empty space. "Where are they?" Ambassador Trell demanded, their crystalline form flickering with agitation. "Our sensors detected their fleet here moments ago." "Incoming transmission," their communications officer announced. "It's everywhere," broadcasting simultaneously from multiple points in space. Admiral Chen's voice filled their command centers, calm and assured. "The Council clearly believes that superior numbers guarantee victory. We're about to demonstrate why that assumption is outdated." At that moment, Sarah Chen activated the quantum field network. Space itself seemed to ripple as the generators created overlapping fields of altered quantum states. The Council fleet found itself trapped in bubbles where the normal laws of physics became suggestions. Ships that tried to fire their weapons found their energy beams moving at a fraction of light speed. Vessels attempting to maneuver discovered their engines providing only minimal thrust. The most advanced fleet in the galaxy had been reduced to near helplessness not by weapons, but by humanity's manipulation of fundamental forces. "This is impossible," the lithoid commander broadcast, their crystalline form vibrating with stress. "No civilization can manipulate quantum fields on this scale." "That's your problem," Sarah Chen replied, patching into the broadcast. "You think in terms of what's possible according to your understanding. Humanity decided to find out what's actually possible." Earth's fleet reappeared, emerging from quantum stealth directly among the immobilized Council ships. Their weapons remained powered down. They didn't need them. The quantum field had already won this battle before it began. "The Council has two choices," Admiral Chen announced to the trapped fleet. "You can accept that humanity has earned its place among the stars through innovation and determination, or you can persist in this pointless show of force. Either way, we will not be contained." In the Council chambers, Supreme Counselor Vex watched the sensor feeds with a mixture of horror and admiration. The humans hadn't just developed advanced technology. They had fundamentally changed the rules of warfare. Their quantum fields made traditional space combat obsolete. "They could destroy our entire fleet," Vex observed to the stunned Council members. "Instead, they're showing restraint. Perhaps we should consider what that means." On the Hyperion's bridge, James Chen watched the Council fleet's attempts to break free of the quantum fields with clinical interest. Their ships were incredibly advanced by conventional standards, but humanity had moved beyond conventional thinking decades ago. Dr. Chen reports all quantum field generators are functioning within expected parameters, his XO reported. "We can maintain this state indefinitely." James nodded, satisfaction evident in his expression. Humanity had spent generations preparing for this moment, developing technologies that went beyond mere weapons. They hadn't prepared to fight the galaxy. They had prepared to change it. "Send to all Council vessels," he ordered. "The demonstration is complete. We await their response. They have 1 hour to decide whether they want to be our allies or learn what else humanity has developed over the centuries." The galaxy was about to change. The only question was whether it would change through cooperation or conflict. Either way, humanity had proven they would not be ignored or suppressed. The age of carefully managed technological development was over. The era of human innovation had begun. 57 minutes into humanity's ultimatum, the Galactic Council made their decision. Not through careful deliberation or diplomatic consensus, but because of a single act that changed everything. A young Promethean scientist, watching the sensor data from the trapped Council fleet, finally understood what humanity had achieved. "They've solved it," she announced, her cybernetic implants glowing with excitement as she burst into the council chamber. "The humans haven't just developed new technology. They've unified quantum mechanics with macro-scale physics. They've done what we thought was impossible for another 10,000 years." Supreme Counselor Vex's artificial eyes focused on the scientist, recognizing her as Dr. Lyra, one of their most brilliant theoretical physicists. "Explain," they commanded. "The quantum fields they're using," Lyra continued, projecting her calculations into the chamber's holographic display. "They're not just suppressing our ships, they're creating localized areas where quantum effects occur at a macro scale. Do you understand what this means?" Understanding rippled through the council chamber. Every spacefaring species had struggled with the divide between quantum mechanics and classical physics. It was considered one of the fundamental limitations of science, the reason why certain technologies remained theoretical. Humanity hadn't just broken that barrier. They'd shattered it. On the Hyperion's bridge, Admiral Chen watched the Council's internal communications with interest. The quantum field network didn't just restrict their ships. It allowed humanity to monitor every transmission, every discussion happening within its influence. "Dr. Chen," he called to his sister through their secure link. "Are you seeing this?" "Yes," Sarah replied, her voice thoughtful as she analyzed the Council's scientific discussions. "They're finally asking the right questions. Should we show them?" James considered for a moment. This had always been part of the plan. The moment when humanity would demonstrate that they weren't just powerful, but potentially invaluable allies. "Initiate Protocol Omega-7, he ordered. Throughout the quantum field network, the fundamental nature of space began to shift. Council ships that had been struggling against the suppressing effects of the field suddenly found themselves free. But what they witnessed next left their crews in stunned silence. The space around Earth's fleet began to ripple with possibilities. Ships seemed to exist in multiple states simultaneously, quantum uncertainty manifesting at a scale visible to the naked eye. It was beautiful, terrifying, and revolutionary all at once. "This is a glimpse of what humanity has achieved," Sarah Chen's voice broadcast across all frequencies. "We've learned to manipulate the quantum fabric of reality itself. But more importantly, we've learned to control it." In the council chambers, Dr. Lyra's calculations spun through increasingly complex projections. "The applications are endless," she breathed, her cybernetic enhancements struggling to process the implications. "Energy production, faster than light travel, even the nature of space-time itself. And they're offering to share this with us." Vex realized, their artificial eyes cycling through spectrum analyses of the quantum manifestations. "This isn't just a demonstration of power, it's an invitation." Ambassador Trell, watching from their flagship, finally understood. Humanity hadn't revealed themselves to challenge the galaxy's power structure. They had waited until they could offer something that would advance all species. "Admiral Chen," they broadcast, their crystalline form pulsing with diplomatic patterns. "The Council requests a formal dialogue, not as superiors to a new species, but as potential allies in a new age of discovery." James smiled. The quantum field generators began powering down, releasing the Council fleet from their influence. This had always been the goal, not to dominate the galaxy, but to prove that humanity could contribute to it in ways no one had imagined possible. "We accept," he replied. "But understand, this is just the beginning of what humanity has discovered. We've spent generations preparing not just to join the galactic community, but to help lead it into a new era of scientific understanding." As Council ships began standing down from combat positions, Dr. Sarah Chen initiated the final phase of humanity's revelation. The quantum field generators didn't power down completely. Instead, they synchronized into a new configuration, creating a stable field of quantum classical interface around Earth's solar system. "What you're seeing," she explained to the astonished Council scientists, "is the first step toward technologies that will change everything we thought we knew about the universe." Humanity hasn't just developed new weapons or defenses. We've opened the door to an entirely new understanding of reality itself. The implications were staggering. In a single day, humanity had not only proven themselves equal to the galaxy's most advanced civilizations, they had shown themselves to be pioneers of sciences that other species had thought impossible. The balance of power hadn't just shifted, it had been fundamentally transformed. 1 month after humanity's revelation to the galaxy, the Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council hosted an unprecedented gathering. Representatives from every spacefaring civilization had assembled not for war or containment, but for what many were calling the dawn of a new scientific age. At the center of it all stood Dr. Sarah Chen, preparing to deliver a presentation that would change the galaxy forever. For centuries, she began, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber's perfect acoustics. Humanity watched the stars and knew we weren't alone. When we found the crashed scout ship in 1908, we made a choice. Instead of rushing to join the galactic community, we would prepare ourselves to truly contribute to it. The holographic displays around her came to life, showing the evolution of human quantum theory. The assembled aliens watched in fascination as decades of hidden human progress unfolded before them. We didn't just reverse engineer the technology we found, Sarah continued. We asked questions no one had thought to ask before. Why does quantum mechanics behave differently at macro scales? What if the observer effect could be controlled? How can quantum entanglement be maintained across light years? In orbit above the Council world, Admiral James Chen watched his sister's presentation from the Hyperion's bridge. The Earth fleet had been joined by ships from dozens of species, all equipped with the first generation of quantum field generators that humanity had shared as a gesture of good faith. Status report, he ordered, maintaining the habits of vigilance that had served humanity well. All quantum field generators are operating within parameters, his XO reported. The integrated fleet exercises are proceeding as planned. The Arcanar and Lithoid ships are particularly adept at implementing our quantum navigation techniques. James nodded with satisfaction. The past month had proven that humanity's approach to diplomacy had been correct. By offering advancement rather than demanding submission, they had transformed potential enemies into eager allies. In the council chamber, Dr. Lyra had joined Sarah on the presentation floor. The young Promethean scientist had become the bridge between human and alien scientific communities, her cybernetic enhancements allowing her to process and translate complex quantum theories across species. What humanity has achieved, Lyra explained to her fellow scientists, isn't just a technological advancement. It's a fundamental shift in how we understand reality itself. Their quantum field technology is just the beginning. Supreme Counselor Vex, watching from their elevated position, felt a sensation they hadn't experienced in centuries. Hope. The Galactic Council had maintained peace through careful control of technological advancement. Humanity had shown them a better way. Progress through cooperation and innovation. Dr. Chen, they called out, their artificial eyes focusing on Sarah. The Council has reached a unanimous decision. We would like to propose the establishment of a new institution, the Galactic Institute of Quantum Sciences, with Earth as its founding center. Sarah smiled, sharing a knowing look with Lyra. This was exactly what humanity had hoped for, not dominance through force, but leadership through innovation. We would be honored, she replied. And we have something to contribute to this new beginning. With a gesture, she activated the quantum field network surrounding the Council world. But instead of the defensive barrier it had shown before, the field shifted into something new. A vast quantum computing network that linked every ship and station in orbit. This is the true potential of quantum field technology, Sarah explained as gasps of astonishment echoed through the chamber. Not just for defense or space travel, but for connecting the galaxy in ways we never thought possible. Instant communication, shared computing resources, and technologies we haven't even imagined yet. Ambassador Trell's crystalline form pulsed with patterns of joy and excitement. You've created a quantum internet spanning light years, they realized. The implications for galactic civilization are endless. Lyra finished, her cybernetic implants glowing as she interfaced with the network. And this is just the beginning. Humanity didn't prepare for war. They prepared to help us all take the next step in our evolution as spacefaring species. In Earth orbit, the quantum field generators that had once stood ready for defense now formed the backbone of a new galactic infrastructure. Ships from 100 worlds moved smoothly through quantum-enhanced space, their crews learning to see reality through new eyes. To those who come after us, Sarah concluded her presentation. Let this be remembered not as the day humanity proved its strength, but as the day all species of the galaxy chose to advance together. We have solved one of the greatest mysteries in physics. Now let us see what other impossibilities we can achieve as one unified civilization. The applause that filled the council chamber wasn't just for her words. It was for the promise of a future brighter than any single species could have achieved alone. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, not as conquerors or supplicants, but as innovators and teachers. The age of separation was over. The quantum age had begun. And somewhere in the vast network of quantum fields connecting the galaxy, new possibilities were already taking shape, waiting to be discovered by a civilization united in its quest for knowledge.